What is going on, everybody? Today we come to you from the Paw Speed Shed, as I like to call it, since it is an open air working shop. We're not going to be working on the Conquest today. We're actually going to be working on XR, the GTI. He's not a GTR. All right, so this is what we got to work with, and it's actually a little bit chilly in South Carolina right now. This little kit right here, and you know, it doesn't look like a lot. It comes with this alignment pin, a lot of the bushings, the first gear getter, the I don't know what they call that stuff, I'll look it up. But these guys, Diesel Geek, they have some great, absolutely fantastic videos on YouTube on how they actually do stuff, which is absolutely awesome, because I absolutely hate buying stuff that doesn't have good instructions. But I consider the Diesel Geeks, you know, the TDI guys of the Volkswagen world, to be kind of the smarter ones. They're not the Chaw Bras of the 1.8s and the VR6s. So we're going to put this thing together and see how much slop we can get out of this shifter. And we'll probably end up shimming the ball up a little bit too. Let me just show you guys how much play there actually is. So let's put it in first gear. Look at that action. Oh yeah. So there's first gear. Look at all of that play, guys. That's mostly coming from that ball. You can see some isolation in that first gear getter. You can see some play up there in the front of the arm and down there. So it just adds up to a really disconnected shifter feel.
1, 2, 3.
Update. I really didn't follow the directions as well as I should have. The kit actually is really inclusive, and actually a good bit of my shifter is still in good working order. It's basically, I just need to shim the ball and get the first gear getter on. I don't know what you can see, but I made a little template that I thought this was actually going to work in the cup, but it's not going to. So I have an old yogurt container I've already cut up a little bit. So I'm going to basically just cut Dad's doing a quarter panel for the Pontiac right now. I just felt like an old man looking over my glasses. It's kind of funny because it's definitely not that I can't see far away, or I can't see. Yeah, whatever. So I'm just going to cut this out roughly. Where do I need to stop? Go ahead and cut down to there. Tell you what, this is pretty hilarious. So this is how I'm fixing a Volkswagen. Feels very old Beetle-esque, honestly. Feels very feels very retro, is what I would say. Very retro. We got the yep. Done with that. Done with that. Do is you put more pressure on this back piece by shimming something in there instead of having to buy a whole new one. Because if you look, you see all that space? See all that space right there? Yeah, we're trying to get rid of that. Yeah, that's better. I'm thinking I'm gonna make another one and try to jam it down in there. Got another one. That's so much better. All right. All right. All right. Want to see something else pretty cool? My cell phone holder is acting as my bolt holder, because I'm cool like that. Dude, this is So much better. Oh man, that is just... It's notchier. I don't have the side hook up yet, so I think I actually am going to put some grease in the ball. But, oh, it's all gone. Heck yeah. That first gear getter is really going to make the difference too. Oh yeah, get that on there like that. Oh dang, that's like really tight. Yeah. All this play's coming from right here. Wonder if I... So I got it back together and it is tighter. I noticed that most of the rest of the play in the system is coming from this little guy right here. So I got that piece off, and this might be my own doing from when we were thrashing to get the car back together. I think it actually is. I'm very ashamed of myself. That's the way it works sometimes though. You go back to figure out what you did and you just did it wrong. So, not proud of myself. Yeah, I definitely made that. It was jammed on there, so I just bent it off. So I'm remembering a little bit of when I ordered this shifter, because I had to order this shifter separately off eBay. And I remembered that that piece was missing from both of the shifters that I had. Then I have a plethora of plugs that I'm gonna try to find one that's the proper shank for this thing to fit in there and take up some of the slack, because I have to drive this car in the daily, so I don't have time to wait. I'm gonna try to find one of these plugs that has the proper shank and is stiff and rigid and just absolutely perfect for what I'm trying to do here. Like, see, like that one's, it's not rigid though. Plugs by usually aren't rigid. We'll see what we can find though. All right, guys, I think we have a winner. Check this out. So this is the shaft. So there's a shank right there. That needs to fit down on there like that. And it presses on there fairly easy. It'll probably split eventually, and I might actually cut a, which is okay if it splits just as long as it stays in there. So I'm gonna go cut a hole in the middle of this to let that pop through. We're gonna be cooking with gasoline. Check it out. I made a bushing out of an old, what do you call those things?
What, cotter pins?
No, I made a bushing out of an old plug.
Oh.
Drilled a hole in the center of it.
Oh, now I see what that
It's
is.
right diameter. Yeah, it's from our plug bin.
Oh.
And slid the pin back in where it goes. And so let's see how it works. Oh, dude. That shit looks pretty pro. Look at that. No slop at all. I need to install this cotter pin. This is the only thing I have. I'm gonna install this.
Yeah, it's not a cotter pin. It's just like a clip.
All right, so we did finish the shifter rebuild. It did take longer than it should have because I had to redo something that I did when we installed the shifter for the 6-speed swap. And if you look over here, I don't know if you can kind of see it, but I had to put I built a bushing out of the plugs that I showed y'all, and I had to get this little gator clip pin thing. And so it's holding it. It's not how I'm gonna leave it. I mean, it'll probably stay there for a while, but I'm gonna put an actual Volkswagen clip like it should be in there eventually. Thank you. I think I only need one. And but I put the Diesel Geek first gear getter. My cables down the bottom are good. The bushings and everything are okay in them. I shimmed this like crazy. So that, I mean, this thing works so much better now. I mean, it actually feels like a real shifter. It doesn't feel like a school bus. So like I think I put it in second, or I put it in third. So in third, if you look down at the bottom, you can see that the cables, but look, compared to what it was, I mean, that I literally can like get some deflection out of it. But I mean, considering that it's a plastic ball, and that right there is actually adjustment at the shifter. So I am super happy with that. All right, guys. Well, that does it for the XR, the GTI shifter rebuild somewhat. We're going to end up throwing the short throw shifter in there eventually because the throws are pretty long, but it's so much better than it was. Diesel Geek stuff is just, I like it a lot. It's really good. I'll probably buy stuff from them as much as I can, even though my car isn't diesel. Next up on Pawpaw Speed Shop, we have got coilovers coming in. They were supposed to come in today, but USPS. Hey, yeah, love it. But the Conquest is getting eBay coilovers, the cheapest things that we could find to throw on there because we've got other money that we need to spend on this thing just to get it up to spec. We need seats. Okay, let's go through it. We need seats, coilovers to jack it up to get it off of the sunken springs that someone heated up with the torch. We need harnesses, need a harness bar. We need LS, and we need a Z32 transmission for it. So really want to get that stuff in as soon as possible so we can start mocking up the whole drive line and get it working. But right now we're gonna go work on Austin's 1G. So we will see you guys probably next week with an update on the Conquest and maybe something in a couple weeks on the 1G. See y'all next time.